Michael B. Jordan, the next black movie star, an actor known for his good looks, franchise roles, and now also an Oscar winner. What about him? From the impulsive, fire-powered prodigy learning to control his abilities, to the determined fighter stepping out of his father's shadow, and from the revolutionary outsider challenging an entire kingdom to criminal twin brothers facing an unexpected evil when they return to their hometown. Let's get into it! Please help your favorite average movie guy get to 1,000 subscribers by subscribing right now. Career beginning. Hardball 2001. After appearing in Sesame Street, an episode of The Sopranos, and Cosby, as well as Black and White, Michael B. Jordan took his first step into film. In this sports drama centered on Connor O'Neill, a struggling gambler who agrees to coach a youth baseball team in Chicago's housing projects in exchange for paying off his debts. Among those kids on the team is Jamal, played by a very young Jordan, in a somewhat brief ensemble role. Like the rest of the team, he represents the reality of kids growing up in a difficult environment. Jordan's presence in the film is natural and unaffected. He blends seamlessly into the group dynamic, giving Jamal a sense of authenticity that makes the team feel like real children rather than characters. Critically, Hardball received mixed reviews. Some critics appreciated its heartfelt approach, while others felt the story leaned too heavily on familiar sports drama formulas. At the box office, the film earned around $44 million worldwide, a modest performance. Hardball wasn't meant to launch a superstar, but for Jordan it marked the beginning of something bigger, the very first step in a career that would eventually grow far beyond the baseball field.
Wow. Nah, millimeters.
The Wire 2002. The following year, Michael B. Jordan made his first notable TV appearance in a project that would eventually become one of the most respected television series ever made. It is often described less as a traditional crime drama and more as a detailed portrait of a city, examining life in Baltimore through multiple institutions, from the police department and the drug trade to schools, politics, and the media. Jordan plays Wallace, a teenage member of a low-level drug crew working the corners for a powerful organization. On the surface, Wallace is just another kid in the game, but unlike many of the hardened characters around him, he carries a sense of vulnerability that immediately sets him apart. What makes Jordan's performance so striking is how human Wallace feels. He's not portrayed as a stereotype or a cautionary tale. Jordan was only in the first season, but Wallace quickly became one of the show's most memorable characters. His storyline delivers one of the earliest emotional gut punches in the series. When The Wire originally aired, it wasn't a massive ratings hit, but critics praised its realism, writing, and performances, and over time it grew into a cultural landmark. For Jordan, The Wire was a major early showcase, even with limited screen time. Wallace feels like the first glimpse of something that would define much of Jordan's later work, a performer drawn to characters fighting against the systems that shape their lives.
I've been with them niggas since shit forever.
Friday Night Lights, 2009 to 2011. After starring in All My Children, Blackout, Pastor Brown, The Assistants, and a slew of episodes in procedurals including CSI, Without a Trace, Cold Case, Burn Notice, Bones, Law & Order Criminal Intent, and Lie to Me, Michael B. Jordan joined this TV show set in the small Texas town of Dillon, where high school football isn't just a sport, it's the center of the community's identity. Jordan joined the show in its later seasons as Vince Howard, a talented but troubled teenager with a complicated past. When Vince first arrives at East Dillon High, he's defensive, angry and distrustful of the authority figures trying to help him. What makes Jordan's performance so compelling is the gradual transformation he brings to the character. As the series unfolds, Jordan reveals layers of vulnerability, pride, and determination beneath that guarded exterior. Through Coach Eric Taylor's mentorship and the support of his teammates, Vince slowly begins to believe in something bigger than himself. Critically, Friday Night Lights had already built a reputation as one of television's most emotionally authentic dramas. Jordan's arrival only strengthened that reputation, with many viewers and critics highlighting Vince as one of the show's most memorable late-season characters. For Jordan, Friday Night Lights was more than just another TV role. It proved he could carry the emotional heart of a story long before Hollywood started handing him leading roles.
You're gonna be just fine.
His true breakthrough. Chronicle 2012. After starring in Parenthood and Rat Tails, Michael B. Jordan's next major step came through a co-leading role in a film that flipped the superhero genre on its head. The film begins with a deceptively simple premise. 3 high school students stumble upon a mysterious object that grants them telekinetic powers. At first, the discovery feels like the ultimate teenage fantasy, but as their powers grow stronger, so do the emotional fractures between them. Jordan plays Steve Montgomery, the most socially confident member of the trio. Steve is popular, charismatic, and effortlessly likable, yet Jordan never plays him as shallow. Instead, Steve becomes the emotional glue of the group, someone who genuinely wants to use their powers responsibly. In a film that slowly drifts towards darker territory, Steve represents the hopeful side of the story. The idea that power doesn't have to corrupt if it's guided by empathy. Critics responded very positively to Chronicle, praising its grounded take on the superhero concept and its found-footage style that made the extraordinary feel surprisingly real. The film earned over $126 million worldwide, becoming one of the biggest surprise hits of the year. Chronicle feels like an important transitional moment in Jordan's career. It was his first major step into leading big-screen genre filmmaking, a space he would later dominate.
The ability to move, lift, vibrate. That's my favorite.
Fruitvale Station, 2013. After starring in Hotel Noir and an episode of House MD, Michael B. Jordan's moment where promise turns into proof arrived with this film. Directed by Ryan Coogler in his feature debut, the film tells the true story of Oscar Grant, a 22-year-old man living in Oakland whose life was tragically cut short by a police shooting on New Year's Day 2009. Rather than focusing only on the event itself, the film takes a different approach. It follows the final day of Oscar's life. Jordan steps into the role with remarkable restraint and empathy. Oscar isn't portrayed as a symbol or a headline, he's a person trying to get his life back on track. Over the course of the day, we see him as a father caring for his daughter, a son reconnecting with his mother, and a young man attempting to repair the mistakes he's made. What makes Jordan's performance so powerful is how natural it feels. He doesn't push the character towards melodrama, instead he lets small moments reveal the humanity of someone trying to move forward. Critically, Fruitvale Station became one of the most celebrated independent films of the year, with critics praising its honesty and emotional impact. Commercially, the film earned over $17 million worldwide. For Jordan, Fruitvale Station was more than just another role, it was the performance that transformed him from a promising young actor into a serious dramatic force in Hollywood. And perhaps most importantly, it marked the beginning of one of modern cinema's most important creative partnerships, the collaboration between Jordan and Ryan Coogler that would go on to shape several major films in the years ahead.
We ain't trying to go to jail, you feel me? We just trying to get home.
That awkward moment, 2014. After starring in Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox, Michael B. Jordan made an unexpected shift into something lighter. The film follows three close friends in New York who make a pact to stay single after one of them goes through a painful breakup. But as their lives unfold, each of them begins to realize that relationships are far more complicated than the rules they've set for themselves. Jordan plays Mickey, the friend whose divorce sparks the group's misguided agreement. Unlike the carefree bachelor energy of his friends, Mickey enters the story emotionally bruised and uncertain about what comes next. What Jordan brings to the role is a surprising amount of sincerity. In a film built around awkward dates, comedic misunderstandings, and the chaos of modern dating, Mickey becomes the emotional anchor of the trio. Critically, the film received mixed and negative reviews, with many critics feeling that the script relied too heavily on familiar romantic comedy cliches. Still, the chemistry between the main cast was often highlighted as one of the film's strengths. At the box office, it performed modestly, earning over $45 million worldwide. For Jordan, that awkward moment represented a different kind of step. After proving his dramatic power, this role showed he could also exist comfortably inside lighter, more commercial storytelling.
I made everything just how you like it.
Becoming a franchise actor. Fantastic Four, 2015. After starring in an episode of The Boondocks, Michael B. Jordan made his first true leap into blockbuster territory. The film reimagines the classic Marvel team as a group of young scientists whose experiment with interdimensional travel goes catastrophically wrong. After returning from another dimension, they discover their bodies have been transformed, granting them extraordinary and dangerous abilities. Jordan plays Johnny Storm, better known as the Human Torch. In this version of the character, Johnny is less of a cocky showman and more of a brilliant but restless engineer, someone who thrives on pushing boundaries and taking risks. What's interesting about Jordan's performance is the energy he brings to the role. Unfortunately, the film itself struggled both critically and commercially. Production difficulties and tonal inconsistencies led to a final product that felt uneven. And many critics felt the darker, more serious approach clashed with the adventurous spirit audiences expected from the franchise. While the casting of the characters, including Jordan, was also critiqued widely. At the box office, the film earned over $167 million worldwide, also a disappointing result. For Jordan, however, Fantastic Four still represented an important moment in his career, even though the film wasn't a success in itself. It was his first major studio blockbuster and his first step into the superhero genre, a space that would soon play a much larger role in his future.
And what if they can't? What if it takes more time to get it right? We could be talking years.
Creed, 2015. Later that same year, Michael B. Jordan again collaborated with Ryan Coogler and stepped into the role that would redefine his career. The film continues the legacy of the legendary Rocky franchise, but shifts the focus to a new generation. The story follows Adonis Johnson, the son of Apollo Creed, the iconic boxer who once stood toe-to-toe with Rocky Balboa. Adonis grows up knowing the weight of that legacy. He has the talent, the power and the drive to become a great fighter, but he's constantly struggling with the question of whether he's chasing his own dreams or simply trying to live up to his father's name. Jordan approaches the role with incredible physical commitment. Months of intense training transformed him into a believable professional boxer, and the film's fight scenes are filmed in a raw, up-close intensity that makes every punch feel real. But what truly defines the performance isn't the physicality, it's the vulnerability. Adonis isn't just fighting opponents in the ring, he's fighting the feeling that his entire identity has been shaped by a legacy he never chose. Under the mentorship of Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa, Adonis begins the long process of proving himself that he belongs in the sport on his own terms. Critically, Creed was a massive success. It was praised for revitalizing the decades-old franchise with emotional depth and modern storytelling. Many critics also highlighted Jordan's performance as the driving force behind the film's energy and heart. At the box office, the film earned over $174 million worldwide and quickly became one of the most beloved entries in the entire Rocky saga. For Jordan, Creed wasn't just another role, it was the beginning of him as a true leading man.
Gotta prove it. Prove what? I'm not a mistake.
Black Panther 2018. After 3 years away, Michael B. Jordan returned and stepped into something even bigger, a role that would place him at the center of a global cultural moment and as a villain for the first time. Directed once again by Ryan Coogler, the film introduces audiences to Wakanda, a hidden African nation rich in technology, tradition and power within the MCU. At its core, the story follows T'Challa as he ascends to the throne, but it's Jordan's character who challenges everything that throne represents. Jordan plays Eric Killmonger, a former soldier with a personal connection to Wakanda and a mission that goes far beyond revenge. Killmonger isn't written as a typical villain. He's driven by history, anger, and a belief that Wakanda has a responsibility to use its power to help oppressed people around the world. What makes Jordan's performance so unforgettable is the balance he strikes between menace and empathy. Killmonger is ruthless, calculated, and often terrifying, but at the same time, his motivations feel painfully real. Jordan brings an intensity to the role that commands attention in every scene, whether he's delivering sharp, confrontational dialogue or simply standing in silence. Killmonger quickly became one of the most iconic villains in the MCU, largely because Jordan refused to play him as just an obstacle for the hero. Instead, he made him the emotional and ideological core of the film. Critically, Black Panther was a phenomenon. It was praised not only for its performance and direction, but also for its cultural significance, becoming one of the most important, widely discussed films of its time. It went on to earn over $1.3 billion worldwide and received multiple Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, a rare feat for a superhero film. For Jordan, Black Panther wasn't just another blockbuster, it was proof that he could dominate the screen, even when he wasn't the hero.
I lived my entire life waiting for this moment.
Creed 2 2018. After starring in Fahrenheit 451 and Kin, that same year Michael B. Jordan returned to one of the most important collaborators and roles of his career. Thus, again directed by Ryan Coogler, this time Adonis Creed faces Victor Drago, the son of Ivan Drago, the man who killed his father in the ring decades earlier. What begins as a high-profile boxing match quickly becomes something much more personal. Jordan's performance here feels more mature and grounded. In the first film, Adonis was chasing identity, here he's forced to live with it. What makes this performance stand out is the internal conflict. Adonis isn't just fighting Victor, he's fighting the fear of becoming defined by tragedy. The film also deepens his relationships, particularly with Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa. Critically, Creed 2 was well received, with many praising its emotional continuity and strong performances, even if it leaned more into traditional sports drama structure than its predecessor. At the box office, it was a major success, earning over $214 million worldwide. For Jordan, the sequel reinforced something important. Creed wasn't a one-time success, it was a lasting chapter in his career.
These dudes killed my pops. Now they parading around talking shit. Can't let that slide.
Continuing franchise work and more diverse roles. Just Mercy 2019. The following year, Jordan took on his first notable non-franchise role in many years and also one of his best regarded. The film is a legal drama based on the true story of Brian Stevenson, a young attorney who dedicates his career to defending wrongly convicted prisoners on death row. The film centers on his fight to free Walter McMillian, a man sentenced to death despite overwhelming evidence of his innocence. Jordan steps into the role of Stevenson with a calm, controlled performance that stands in dark contrast to many of his more physically intense roles. What makes Jordan's portrayal here so compelling is its restraint, which he isn't used to. Stevenson isn't written as a loud or overly dramatic figure, instead he's steady, thoughtful and deeply empathetic. Critically, Just Mercy was well received, with particular praise directed at its performances and its grounded human approach to a deeply serious subject. While it didn't dominate the box office, it earned around $50 million worldwide. For Jordan, Just Mercy was a needed reminder of his range. After years of action films and franchise roles, it showed he could step into real-life stories and carry them at the same level of conviction.
Whether we're going to be governed by fear and by anger, or by the rule of law.
Without Remorse, 2021. After 2 years away, Michael B. Jordan fully stepped into action hero territory. Based on a novel by Tom Clancy, the film follows John Kelly, an elite Navy SEAL whose life is shattered after a brutal attack claims the life of his wife. Jordan takes on the role with intense physicality. This is a character driven by grief, anger, and a restless need for answers. And Jordan commits fully to that mindset. Whether it's close quarters combat, high-stakes shootouts, or survival in extreme conditions, he carries the film with a constant sense of urgency. But beyond the action, what grounds the performance is the emotional core. Critically, Without Remorse received mixed to negative reviews. While many praised the film's action sequences and Jordan's commanding presence, others felt the story leaned too heavily on familiar genre conventions. For Jordan, Without Remorse marked another evolution, although maybe not the one he needed. It was a clear step into a new space, the modern action lead, but maybe not a space for him.
So now he's the only asshole. The only one that wasn't on the plane.
Give me a reason.
Creed 3, 2023. After starring in What If, again as Killmonger, an episode of Love, Death and Robots, making a tongue-in-cheek cameo in Space Jam: The New Legacy, starring in A Journal for Jordan, Jan Locke, Raising Dion, and surprisingly returning as Killmonger as a cameo in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Michael B. Jordan wasn't just continuing a successful franchise, he was redefining his place within it. This was his directorial debut, stepping behind the camera while also returning as Adonis Creed. It's a major shift, and one that immediately changes the feel of the film. The film introduces Damian Anderson, played by the now controversial Jonathan Majors, a childhood friend of Adonis who resurfaces after years in prison. Where Adonis found success and opportunity, Damian's life took a very different path. Their reunion quickly turns into confrontation, forcing Adonis to face parts of his past he thought he had left behind. What makes Jordan's performance here stand out is his sense of control, both as an actor and as a filmmaker. Jordan plays Creed with a quieter confidence, but also with an underlying guilt. Damian isn't just an opponent in the ring, he's a reflection of what Adonis could have been. As a director, Jordan brings a new visual style to the boxing sequences. The fights become more psychological, almost surreal at times, reflecting the emotional stakes rather than just the physical ones. It's a bold choice that sets the film apart from its predecessors and worked in my opinion. Critically, Creed 3 was well received, with many praising Jordan's direction and the performances of both leads. At the box office, it became the highest grossing film in the trilogy, earning over $276 million worldwide. For Jordan, Creed 3 wasn't just another success, it was a statement. He wasn't just a star anymore, he was a filmmaker, shaping his own story.
Nah, I ain't signing no autographs, but you get off my car.
Sinners, 2025. After 2 years away, this film reunites Michael B. Jordan with Ryan Coogler once again. The film is a full embrace of genre, a historical vampire horror set in 1932 Mississippi. It follows criminal identical twin brothers Smoke and Stack, both played by Jordan, who return to their hometown in the Jim Crow South, where they are confronted by a supernatural evil. It's a dual performance that immediately sets the film apart, requiring Jordan to create two distinct characters who share the same face but not the same identity. What makes the performance so compelling is the contrast. Smoke is more controlled, measured, someone who processes the world carefully, holding things in. While Stack, on the other hand, is more impulsive, more outwardly reactive, someone who meets the chaos head-on. Jordan doesn't rely on obvious tricks to separate them, instead it's the details, posture, tone, presence that the distinction becomes clear. The film uses its supernatural premise not just for scares, but to explore deeper themes of cultural survival, religion, oppression and the reclamation of community. Critically, Sinners was praised for its ambition and atmosphere. Reviewers highlighted Coogler's direction, but the centerpiece was always Jordan's dual performance. His awards campaign picked up steam towards the end, leading to an Actor Award for Best Actor and the big one, the Academy Award for Best Actor. A rare recognition for a dual performance. It is a win that feels both long overdue because Jordan has been on our screens for a while and has always been excellent. But at the same time it feels quick and surprising based on the types of specifically franchise roles he has played for well over a decade. But we can all agree it is very much deserving. Commercially, the film was also a success, grossing over $369 million worldwide, becoming one of the highest grossing films of Jordan's career. Sinners feels like a culmination, not just because of the awards recognition, but because it brings together everything Jordan has built over the years. His collaboration with Ryan Coogler, emotional depth, physical presence, and now complete transformation. For the first time, he isn't just carrying a film, he's carrying two sides of the same story and making both unforgettable.
Ain't no boys here. I just grown men. With grown men money.
And there you have it, the full career of Michael B. Jordan. From early TV roles to big franchise star and now Oscar winner. Now let me ask you, what do you think of Sinners? Did Michael B. Jordan deserve his Oscar? And what is your favorite Michael B. Jordan performance? Let me know in the comments below and be sure to subscribe for more videos like these. I have been Dean, the average movie guy on your screen. Big thanks for watching. See you next time. Roll the credits.